Okay, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We thank you for joining us in the Love Chat. Okay, today we're going to have a light and we're going to have a fun session. We're going to talk about love. The reason being because tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So we just wanted to, get in the vein of things. But first of all, let me introduce you to the JTC family. We have, for the first time, we have everyone on the chat. Everybody give a wave. And I want everyone to introduce themselves. Talisha, can you just say a quick hi, howdy, whatever you want to say? Just give us a quick.
Guys, welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining. And I hope you enjoyed today's topic.
It's going to be fun. Okay, Joe, unmuting.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joe from Ottawa. I think most everyone here is from Ottawa as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. As usual, great conversations happening with Join the Chat. Looking forward to sharing this with you today.
Okay, and we have Ghislaine.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ghislaine. So thanks for joining us today, and I hope you're going to enjoy the chat today.
Okay, and we have Lily. Unmuting.
Sorry, my bad. I'm Lily, and I guess I am not from Ottawa.
Okay, that's it. Okay. Okay, Kimmy, fabulous Kimmy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kimmy. Thank you for joining the chat with us. And like everybody said, I hope that you enjoy. And let's talk about love.
Okay, and we have Andre.
Yes, Andre, the host with the most. Thank you for joining. If it's your first time, I hope you'll be thrilled to enjoy our discussion. I look forward to a good show today.
Okay, and the one and only Mr. Bojangles, Renford.
Man, it feels so great not being in the moderator seat today. So all of the pressure is on Ruth. Sit back, relax, and just talk or not talk, and just watch everybody else. Fantastic. Renford, Mr. Bojangles here. We are here joining the chat. You're going to hear my voice. We're going to have honest conversation. I'm going to, poke the bear a lot today. So yeah, I'm here to have a good time, man. I get to be a host. So yeah, this is fantastic for me. I hope you ladies are ready.
Oh, come on, bring it, bring it, bring it. And I forgot to mention, my name is Ruth. I think Renford just did that for me very discreetly and nicely. Okay, I am Ruth, and I am going to be one of the co-hosts just for today. Okay, so let's just get right in it. We're going to have a discussion about love and relationships, where I just want to put a disclaimer there. Although it's Valentine's, we're not saying we agree with or we're supporting the little cherub with the arrow and all the stuff that goes along with it. We just want to use this afternoon just to talk about love, talk about relationships, talk about things in life regarding relationships. So we're just going to get straight into it. So I have a list of questions. I did have a girl question, guy question thing, but I think I'll just throw some things out there as well, just to kind of stir the pot a little bit. But let's start with the ladies first of all. So in this time where obviously we're all in lockdown, we are confined to our houses until whichever date that the government decides that we're allowed to be released. How do you date? How do you date in a situation like this? How do you date? How do you meet anyone? How does it all work? Can the ladies unmute? Oh, can everybody unmute actually?
I'd say it goes down in the DM. That's the first initial, I mean, especially nowadays, that's where most people reach out to people they find attractive or find like they could like have a good conversation with or just want to meet up. It's for sure through social media. That's like one of the main things, because everyone, wants to look their best and show their best selves on social media so they can get a lot of attention. And then reaching out and, asking for that date starts when the so-and-so slides in the DM.
So what's DM? Explain what DM for the people who don't know what DM is.
It's direct message. So when you have a public or even a private profile, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter even, you have like a message like on your profile message inbox where people can like ask you, message you and ask you whatever.
Wait, is that why random people add me on Facebook?
Probably that could be a reason, because they want to DM you. Yes.
Okay, I don't really use social media, and I definitely don't accept anyone I don't know. So I guess I'm not with it. I'm not with the times.
So when you're private on Instagram or you're private on Facebook, like you can choose who's allowed to message you, and like you could choose who's can like if you want to respond to them or not, pretty much.
So is that the only way that they can people can kind of connect with you? So you're saying social media. So are there so you said Instagram, Facebook, and did you say something?
Or in Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
So those are the only ones that can.
I guess Snapchat too, because I have a lot of random people adding me on Snapchat, but I don't.
You're a popular girl.
Yeah, Snapchat.
You're not into that life, okay?
I mean, in my that's how it is in like my generation, my age range. I don't know about like your guys's, because people don't meet each other at coffee shops and in the record store anymore. Like that's not
right now.
That's not a thing.
Well, I mean, before COVID, obviously, most of the people I met were like at the climbing gym or like at salsa nights. So.
Oh, salsa. Okay, Gislin.
Yeah.
So I'll just throw this out to all the single people that are in the chat. So how do you think is a good way to meet someone? Is this how it normally is with meeting people on social media, or are there other avenues or ways of meeting people?
I agree with Talisha. So it's social media, but during this COVID, you also have like dating apps, like Tinder, Bumble, whatever, Hinge. So I think that's mostly what we use if you want to date someone during this pandemic.
Is it dating or is it hooking up? Because I heard someone said to me that they had gone on, I think it was a Facebook meeting thing, whatever it was. And they were saying that most of the people that contacted them, they just wanted a quick hookup.
That's my experience for sure.
Yeah, it really depends on how you're approaching the person and also how that person is presenting themselves on social media as well.
But how do you know? How do you know if you this random, like Lily's saying, these random people are connecting with her? How do you know?
Well, I'm assuming they're not looking for like a relationship, and also I find that really strange, and I don't like it. So,
like usually they'll most likely start out with a hey or oh you're so beautiful, where are you from? And then, you know, kind of continue on with the conversation and then you'll be able to see what their intentions are based on the questions that they're asking you about yourself and things like that.
Can you? But can you?
Not necessarily all the time, not every time, no, but in my personal experience, I can usually tell if someone's like, oh, they want to ask me out on a date and like go from there, or if they just want to hook up, for sure.
So it's kind of like a social media thing then. That's the easiest, or is that the more convenient way, I guess, for meeting people, especially in a time like this?
Well, convenient for like right now, and just more common and it's less intimidating too, because when you go approach someone in real life, like you can see their live reaction and you know, you can see if they're gonna, and it hurts more if they reject you in front of your face. But you know, if someone doesn't answer if someone doesn't answer your message, like you just move on with life. Like
what's that? Would they call it ghosting? Is it ghosting?
Yeah, ghosting.
If someone ghosts you, you can move on with life and then move on to the next person that you want to DM. So
okay, Kimmy, you haven't said very much so far.
Well, you mentioned dating, and that has not been something that's been on the radar for my world for a long time. But I've definitely got some pics up in my DMs. Okay. And I find that people are even bolder now. I always
expose them.
No.
Share your screen and
they've exposed themselves enough, okay? They've exposed themselves enough for me. And I find it's people that I know that really kind of push the boundaries behind that computer screen and just kind of put the whole thing out there. Like, hey, you want this? It's like a business card these days.
Oh wow.
The D pics. And I don't put up a whole bunch of risque stuff. I mean, I might line up a waistline from time to time, but nothing in my personal opinion that would warrant somebody else being like, you know what?
I have a question.
Let me get a picture of my willy and let me send it to this woman and just, you know, boom, here you go. So I'm happy you don't like it. I don't like it either, Lily. It's not fun.
Joe had a question.
So if people are sliding your DMs way before coronavirus hit, how are you guys handling those situations now? So like someone's sliding your DM before you can set up to meet. How do you do it now if you want to meet them? How are those exchanges happening?
I generally don't want to meet these people because I already know them. I already know these people, and I don't want what they're selling at the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, if you're on the platform and you're looking to date someone, we're in a pandemic. How does that work?
People move on to phone calls, FaceTime, Skype, and all this stuff. Like that's literally the most that you can do right now, because the first thing someone will say, I was like, oh, everything is closed. There's nothing we can do now, but can we video chat or whatever?
Okay.
So going back to Kimmy, you're talking about these pictures now.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the pictures.
Let's bring it back.
I need to hear about this. So, so we know what you're talking about. So did you say these are people that you know?
Yes.
That's even worse.
It's worse. I know, because you can't look at them the same. I can't look at them the same. All I see is that now. You know?
My girlfriends don't do that to me ever.
You're lucky.
I know.
These aren't even boyfriends. These aren't even boyfriends of mine.
So they're just associates. There's people that you know, just
people from high school I've had happen, just people that I've met before that are just on Facebook. When Facebook first started, I kind of accepted everybody. I got almost 1,000 friends. I maybe know 7 of them. I don't know these people. They're watching, and
Okay.
And they're more. I find with the pandemic, they're more bolder. Like, hey, what are you doing? You're alone. I'm alone. Let's do the Humpty Hump.
So Renford, you're very quiet. Just what's your take on this? We'd like to hear your view.
I ain't got no view. I ain't got nothing to say on all of this. So I don't be sending anybody any. I'm not sliding in anyone's DMs with my nudes. Not happening. Not doing it. Not going down. But I mean, like, just as we're talking about it though, and Joel's kind of alluding to your question too. It's like, is there more of a desperation during the pandemic because we can't see people? So are people more receptive? I'm not into the social media. That's just always been me in terms of like really meeting people. I've always, because of music, I've always kind of tried to keep the social media and my private life kind of separated. So I try not to blur those lines. That's just me. I've been doing that since the get-go, since the jump. But I do wonder if people are a little bit more desperate during this pandemic because they got some urges and needs that are going unsatisfied. And, they're like Kimmy said, they're a little bit bolder, But I'm pretty sure if some people are sending those pictures, I'm pretty sure there's other people that maybe enjoy getting those type of pictures, Kimmy.
I've never heard of anyone who enjoys getting them. I don't really understand the thought process that goes through people's heads. And by people, I mean men.
It's true. I don't understand it either, because I don't know if it's because of the anatomy or how we're built, but me personally, and I don't know how some of them even set up shots. But I'm just like, oh my, what do I say to that? No, thank you. F off. That comes out mostly. I like to get deep with it and be like, tell me, what is going through the mind when you see me, or obviously other people, and you feel the need to give yourself an expose? I don't get it.
People put a lot of unnecessary, because people put a lot of trust. You have to put a lot of trust in some random person that you never met just to send that photo. So what goes through their mind to make them think that I won't just screenshot this and expose or whatever? Obviously I wouldn't do that, but like, that's one thing that people seem to forget about it. And then not only that, it's like, I never even asked for this photo. No one asked for it. So it's just an uncalled for exposed picture that
nobody needs.
Yeah.
So okay, so it's social media.
Can I say something on that though too? Because you ladies are going hard in on these men. But what about the ladies who put on all these suggestive photos just on a regular basis, just with the outfits that they're wearing, showing off the eye candy and all that stuff? So you're disgusted when it comes from a man and you don't understand the thought process. Then it
There's
seems
a difference.
But it seems like
jumbo difference.
There's a big difference between a suggestive photo and a photo of a penis sent to someone privately.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're acting like, but there's ladies that send pictures of their breasts. There's ladies that send pictures of their behinds. There's that too. So all I'm saying is that let's balance it out here. It's not
no
just
girl is sending a picture of their vagina to a stranger.
So you think out of 7 billion people, not one person's done that?
That's very uncommon for a girl to do.
We ain't doing that.
No,
we ain't doing that. No.
I'm just saying, sending the D pictures as a dude is not as common as you think, because I wouldn't even ever think of sending that, right? So
how do you know it's actually
it's way too common. It's way too common.
Yeah, it's more than if I was in university, I'd want to do a thesis on it, because I've been exposed to since I was a teenager. I walk by, this dude feels the need to show himself. This guy called me to his car to say, hey, can I get directions? Me, like a jackass, I'm like, sure. Boom, there's Willie in my face. I've been going through it
humongous
since I was a teenager. Oh yeah.
Nobody consented to any of this stuff.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's
whereas if you're talking about a social media feed of like some suggestive photos, that isn't shoving it in your face.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about since I was a child, I've been exposed to girls gone wild and these things, right? So like it happens for us too. I'm just being real. Like we can't just say it's one-sided. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
Well,
I understand that women might be exposed to it differently and have a different reaction to it, but like we're exposed to it too.
But the difference
It's
is
completely different.
Yeah, the girls posting those photos, that's on their page for everyone to see. They don't like care. They're not sending it to you personally. That's like,
you open that picture, you didn't consent to a fucking penis. You go on some girls gone wild whatever page,
yeah,
you're looking for it.
Okay,
Hey,
so
hey.
I think you're talking, was Renford saying that he was talking about people sending it to him directly? Were you saying people send it to you directly?
I'm saying that happens.
So
Right?
like a DM, not just
Yeah. I'm not just talking, but we were talking about the exposure to it and whatnot. So I'm just saying that it does happen. Like women do it. Women do send breast
Yeah.
pictures.
So you
I
have
don't know.
pictures of women's vaginas
You know,
in your
so
DM.
I don't
people
have,
sending your skin out picture, Renford. You
Yeah,
seen a woman skin out the pot of cake and sending it to you? No,
Yeah, man.
you
And it
don't
makes
see
me-
that.
and it makes
Well,
me
maybe
very
as a DJ, maybe you might, but it's not
May-
common.
Okay, so just let me ask you. I just want to ask a question. So you're saying no women in the whole world do this. Let's think of Drake. Do you think anyone sent Drake a photo like that? LeBron James.
Why are we discussing no women in the whole world do this, while on the other hand, a whole fucking lot of men do this? This is a
Yeah.
completely different standard.
No, it's
yes,
not.
probably some crazy
It's wrong on both
women
sides.
do
But
this.
you can't say
There's a bajillion men who do this. This is a completely different standard that you're putting on right now.
no.
What do you mean no?
Lily, hear me out. Please hear me out.
This is
Listen.
an issue of consent. So I'm
I
getting
agree
very
with
heated
you.
right now.
I agree 100% with you. What Renford, I believe, is saying is that it's not right for a woman to receive it or a man to receive it, and that it's happening. It's happening.
It's not
both ends.
right, but you guys are talking about a different problem.
No, I'm not. No,
yes,
I'm not.
it is. This
No,
is
I'm not talking about a different problem.
We are talking about the issue of men sending out penises to every single woman. This is a widespread problem. This is a problem everywhere. All of the women on the screen right now have said that we have problems of us receiving penises.
Yep.
And Kimmy even saying as a teenager of men in person exposing themselves to her. Some women showing some men, that's a different topic. You are saying, oh, what about both sides?
No.
That is not a part of the discussion.
No, Lily, you're
The
not
discussion
hearing
is
me.
this is
So,
a
Lily,
problem.
So Lily, if you can just hear my view on this, I'm not advocating for one side or another. I'm just trying to have the honest conversation.
You're disregarding the
not.
experiences of women on the
No, we're not.
screen right
I'm not.
now.
No, we're not.
I am accepting
we're
and
not.
I'm acknowledging the fact that Kimmy has said she has received those. As a man, I am just saying I have received them from the opposite sex as well. That's all I'm saying. So we were just on a topic where somebody was saying, and maybe I heard incorrectly. If I didn't hear the view properly, please correct me. But I was just hearing that women don't ever do this. It's a man thing. And that's
With
where
the widespread sexual assault, harassment, abuse in this society, you guys distracting from the conversation of us talking about exposure, especially to teenage Kimmy, is a fucking problem. And I would like you guys to address that.
Okay.
I think
Can
it's
I
separate. Yeah, go ahead.
So can I just jump in there? Okay, from what I'm hearing is it's been acknowledged that it's from both sides. I think maybe what may have triggered something is when Kimmy said about when she was younger and things, things had happened to her. But I don't, from what I'm hearing, I didn't hear the guys denying and saying that, no,
distract and disregard the seriousness of this problem.
No one's actually saying that. What they're saying is they understand that it's coming from both
they are
sides.
saying, but what about? That's a distraction. That's disregarding.
No, that's not.
Okay.
So I think this is a great time to kind of switch topics.
I was going to say, we're going to just kind of move.
That's not what we're saying, but I see that this is a touchy subject for you, Lily.
Yes, this is a touchy subject for me. This is a touchy subject for a lot of women in the world. 1 in 4 women are sexually assaulted. Out of the 4 women here, 1 has been. So think about it.
Okay, we understand.
So just to clarify, and just so I can go a little bit further. So by no means am I trying to disrespect or distract or take away from issues. I just want to just bring that to the forefront, Lily. If I offended you, I apologize.
No, not if.
I offended you. I apologize. That was not my intention. I was just trying to bring my perspective, but I get where you're coming from, and I'm not gonna minimize it. So I'm just not gonna speak on that topic any longer.
And also, I'd just like to I'm going to close up on this section here, but just to say as well that some things happen to people, things do actually happen to people, but from what I was hearing, it wasn't like a general sweeping it under the carpet thing. It was just a comment to say that it can happen from both sides, but we're going to move on from that section now.
I do not accept that, Ruth, because they were very, very insistent on changing the topic. Okay. And this is something that happens in every single part of society. So yes, I will address it. I will address it with the intensity and aggression that it deserves. And yes, I recognize it makes everyone here feel uncomfortable. And I want everyone to sit in that discomfort and feel it, because every time these kind of conversations happen and nobody says anything, that's what the 1 in 4 women who has been sexual assaulted feel. That's discomfort.
Okay.
So now we can end the conversation.
That is fine. We had ended the conversation beforehand, but thank you for closing that up and actually making an awareness of what some people have actually gone through, because maybe if you hadn't said that people who may have gone through things, they would think that their voices aren't heard, but you have actually brought that to the forefront, so thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to some of the challenges that men have in dating. We're talking about how you meet people. Have there been any challenges that the guys have experienced when they have gone on dates? What kind of challenges have they had? Chislin. Because we always say it's about the women, but then, okay, from a men's perspective.
I want to hear from Andre first, and then I'll move on later on.
Andre's married.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know. I mean, it's been quiet from the beginning. So sorry, Andre.
I'm gonna step in here. I'm gonna exit because I have been triggered pretty badly right now.
Okay, we understand.
And I want to say that I, as a person who has had life experiences, it is devastating to me, just the lack of awareness in society for these issues, the stuff that I hear everywhere. And there was definitely a time where I would have been knocked out mentally, not just for hours or days, but for weeks because of that shit. And it is through much time and much therapy that I have achieved even a level of peace. And I would like everyone to think about what everyday life is like for women who have experienced these kind of things. And now I will go and I will take the rest of the day to heal from this. And the next week, I will talk to my therapist about this and spend a lot of money. And then maybe we can all, including me, move on from this conversation. Goodbye.
Okay, we'll talk later. Okay, so as we can see that even with a situation where she's coming from, obviously there's some abusive situation that's gone on. These things are real. These things are things that sometimes you look at somebody, you don't know somebody's gone through something like that until there is a trigger. So although it's kind of like a tense time and it's kind of, oh, that kind of went a different way, it's good to bring awareness of things that have happened. It's good to bring awareness that, and this can happen to men and women. So it's not just women, this can happen to both. So Although that wasn't expected, I will speak to her later, but it's good to bring that awareness of things that are going on that nobody actually talks about and nobody actually acknowledges. Okay, we're going to move. Okay, we were talking about, okay, let's switch that subject. Let's go to something different. Okay, we're going to speak to the married guys. So we have Andre. Can you give a wave, Andre? And we have Joe. Those are the two married guys that we have on the chat right now. Okay, so we want to ask you, first of all, I'll ask Joe, how did you meet your significant other?
Great question. My wife, Crystal, and I met at our school bar / restaurant. It's actually a bar. She came in with a couple of mutual friends, and it's funny, you know, we've have a lot of mutual friends, but never ran into each other. And it was St. Patrick's Day, and I was bartending there, and her friends ordered a pitcher of beer, and I filled up hers, and it was only half full, and I went back to refill it for free, and then she just really enjoyed my company. She's like, "Who's this cute guy?" And then we just hit it off and started hanging out more often. And she moved from the East Coast to Ottawa with me, and we've been together ever since.
How long have you been married?
4 years now, and we've been together for 11 in total.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Andre, tell us about how you met your wife that you speak of very often.
How did I meet? We met at work. We met at the workplace.
Okay.
Yeah, at Cineplex.
Tell the story.
Working at the movie theater. And
your eyes met across a crowded auditorium.
No, to be honest with you, a friend told me about her first. My friend worked here too, and he just told me about this person, this girl, and the way he's describing.
Did he like her?
No, it's not to do with like or anything like that. I don't know. You'd have to ask him. But he was just describing her like, yo, you see this girl who work here, and he was describing her physical appearance and stuff, you know. And to me, it was like whatever. To be honest with you, I was just brushing it off because I've been there for like whatever a few months, and I didn't see anyone like that. So to my head, it's like, okay, I'm not interested in a relationship or anything like that with any one type of like my age or whatever it is. I was looking for any commitment, you know. So honestly, I brushed it off until one day now I actually see her in the kitchen, and my head is just automatically comes, this got to be that girl because this girl is the prettiest girl here, you know. That just comes in my head automatically. That's the girl I'm talking about, and make my approach, you know. I'm not a DM guy. I don't do social media things. So I did a DM. I approach her.
You spoke to her in person?
Yeah, in person. Yeah, man.
Wow.
I wasn't intimidated by the beauty or anything like that. I want to get closer to the beauty, you know. So yeah, approach her, and obviously not gonna be so easy. She kind of like play not hard, but it's not easy. It wasn't easy, so. Then we tried multiple days after, but that's how we met at work, you know. So
you were persistent in the chase.
Yeah, man, very persistent. Take a lot of train ride, follow, go home late night, walk home, you know, all of that. So we finish work 12 o'clock, take the train. So, but I think.
So how long have you been married?
Don't do me that route.
I'm just asking a question.
Wow. 2019. 2019.
Okay, so it's been July. a year and
a year and change. July gonna make 2 years, but
okay.
We've been together since 2014, or started from 2014.
Wow, yeah. So you pursued for a while then, 4 years.
Yeah, man, and waited the right way, do everything the right way, you know. Not perfect, you know, but in regards to her, do it the right way, man. Wait till marriage, everything like that. Never violate. Be a good boy, you know. Yeah.
Excellent. So we have in the chat that somebody said, I'm interested in hearing from the men regarding my previous question. And my previous question was, I forget. What challenges do men have on the dating scene? And I was with Gislin.
That's a great question. Challenges. Personally, I think it's when I get to talk to the girl and we get to have great conversation. Then you know, we get to meet, for example, that was before COVID, and and then the conversation will stop right there, right? And so it's like we're having a great conversation, but after meeting, what's going on, right? The other challenge that I've actually faced, that I've noticed, is maybe coming back to a little bit like sliding in the DM and from the dating apps as well. It's more like you would talk to the person, to the girl, and she'll put you like on the side, in the sense of like she has like three or four other men she's talking to, but then she puts you like on the bench in case it doesn't work out with the other three guys. Then she comes back to you, right? So that's
so she's keeping her options open.
Here we go. So putting you on the bench, that's how I call it.
Okay.
Hold
Okay,
on.
who else?
So guys know when they're on the bench?
Heck yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How did you know?
Wow, how do you-
Experience. Huh?
There's a nail in the bench, Kimmy. So whenever I got to juke him, no, it's a nail juking him from the bench.
Here we go.
Yeah, man.
So Renford, what challenges do men have on the dating scene?
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk anymore.
Talk, just
You know what? But to be honest, I think one of the biggest challenges just in today's society, well, two challenges I would say. One is patience. So I don't know if people are as patient now as once upon a time, and then also setting the expectations. Like I don't think conversation happens enough about what the intentions are. So then the expectations get all skewed, you know. So especially, you know, some people are meeting people on certain dating apps, and one person expects the date to go this way, another expects it to go another way, and I don't think that those are the two challenges I see: expectations, setting them, fulfilling them, and also the challenge of just being patient. Like microwave generation, microwave society, everything is instant. So you meet somebody and then, you know, you want to, I don't know, be boyfriend and girlfriend right away or what have you. So those are the challenges, two challenges that I see for men. I can't speak for all men. I think it's in general for everybody, but I'm speaking as a man. So yeah, just setting expectations and being patient.
so you're saying expectations. This is for all the single people in the chat right now. So does a relationship have to result in marriage? Do people go in, so you're saying that people are going on a dating app. So is the dating that they're going, you know, the dating that they're looking for, is it for just companionship, or is it because you actually want to settle down with someone?
I think that's the point though, right? Some people are going into these apps to settle down and find a committed relationship. Others have just got out of a long relationship and just want to get back on the scene and meet people. So they just want to have fun. They just want to speak to people, nothing serious. And then you have other people who are, you know, honestly genuine and, you know, maybe new to the city or something like that, and just genuinely want to make friends. You know, so again, that's where the expectations come in, right? Like everyone just has a different approach to why they're coming into these apps.
I also, sorry to cut you off there, Ren. I also think that to touch back on your other question about the troubles that people are dating is that's one of them, is that the people who are looking to settle down don't want this fast rush life of these fast sliding in your DMs type of relationships. But they also don't have the time because they're busy with their careers and moving forward. They don't have time to waste time with these people who are just trying to do these things that are coming across with the bad intentions. So that's, I think, and that's more people my age, friends of mine who are like, you know, they're getting mid to late 30s. They're like, I don't want to waste my time with this guy. Do you know what I mean? Like if we want to hook up, we can hook up, but I'm not bringing him to introduce my friends and my family and bring him to meet my parents because that's a waste of time. So I think like that's one of the issues is the intentions behind it. Like, are you looking to do exactly what I'm looking to do, whether that be a family or travel the world? Do our intentions align? Because if they don't, we're wasting each other's time. You know, when you're young and you don't have children, those are great times. But when you have a career and you're looking to settle down, you know, those priorities shift.
Okay. Andre said something when he was talking about when he met, or when someone was telling you about Esther. You said you weren't really interested in anybody. Is there a reason why you weren't really interested in anyone?
At the
I mean,
time,
because usually, yeah.
well, no,
And what made you change?
no, at the time I was just enjoying being single. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, at that time, and no, to be honest, yeah, well, I was in a relationship before that. But you know, it's a early teenage, whatever thing. And at that time, I kind of evaluate myself and the whole experience because I experienced it like, yeah, I thought it was love, I thought it was this, would I never end. All the good stuff. I've seen action that shows that yes, this person interested, and I've done things at the time that wasn't truthful too. So it's like I really evaluate my whole self. Was I being truthful and keep it honest with myself? And to be honest, my approach was, what can I take from this experience, bring to the next relationship? So at the same time, I wasn't looking any commitment from, for example, say a girl who's my age group at the time, because expectations, and I know I wasn't ready and stuff like that. And what I also wanted was to do some things different too and be honest in this relationship, which ended up being my marriage, even with the whole patience, waiting until marriage to have sex and stuff like that. That was different for me, and it was hard, you know, because again, I respected it because I had family members who think the same way. Like my grandmother grew up like that. So to think like that, I was like, you know what? Before I used to jump the gun, what happened? You know, and what come from that? So I used a previous relationship. So at that time, I wasn't looking any form of commitment. So my head wasn't there, none at all to show you. And I always said the next girl I talked to would be my age group or whatever, got to be my wife. So when I see her, I already know from the jump, like, yeah. My friend was telling me, but I didn't hear. When I see her, I'm like, yeah, automatic. I'm a wife. Like, I already didn't know, as me say, and I wasn't jumping the gun or anything like that. Meaning I was trying to talk to every girl I see. No, it was none of that. So it was just that feeling, you know, just being patient as Renfred. That's why I was laughing earlier when he was saying that that's a problem for true, and it was a problem for true. We can't wait till this happen and automatically think from just accept us as a girlfriend or a boyfriend thing, or she bring us to our house. We think, oh, we're already in, like no time for delay. Maybe tomorrow come over and think, can I go in the bedroom? And she's like, no. Sit in the living room. In my head, I'm like, but I was here yesterday. So patience is a big part of it, and knowing yourself and knowing what your value in a sense. So that's why I said that at the time, man.
Okay. So for Kimmy and Talisha, how do you feel about what Renfred was saying about knowing what the intentions are? Have you had any experiences where you maybe thought it was going somewhere and it looked like it was going somewhere, and then the whole thing just went kaput? Is there any experiences that you've had where you know, it looked like it and you're thinking, yeah, he's the one, he buys me flowers, he does this, da, 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 and then it all just went down the tubes? Anybody?
Well, I've actually gotten the opposite effect where I didn't find out until it was way too deep that I was even in this relationship. And it's happened to me more than once. So I'm like, hey, but wait, I never even got the memo that this was a thing here. So that's how it's probably gone down for me.
Okay, explain.
Like, I mean, you might be
you didn't know you were in a
hanging
relationship.
out and doing the things and, you know, hanging out. And then all of a sudden a situation comes up where I got the memo that I'm in a relationship with this person. Like, that's literally what it was like for me. Like, oh, it's like, what?
We're together.
I didn't know. I
Okay,
didn't get
guys.
the memo. Thank you for letting me know. Now I gotta get
Okay,
out.
Talisha.
No.
Of something that you didn't know you were in. Talisha?
Yes.
Yeah, I've definitely been in a situation where I thought it was going one way and it kind of went south. And it's due to like not being in the same wavelength in life. Like, okay, this person is very attracted to me. I'm very attracted to them. We vibe, we have a good time together. But when it comes to our outlook on life and things that we want for ourselves, it just didn't really align. And that's something that's very important and very key. And I think in any relationships, friendships as well. And so, yeah, it just didn't really end up that way. And not only that, I've had like 2 experiences where it's been, okay, this person has said that they wanted to date me and they do want to continue and want to put that effort into, continue, but then they get caught up in their own head and realize, oh, there's some things that I'm missing about myself that I need to, work on myself before I give myself to someone else. And I think that's a very valuable thing, because if you value yourself, you're going to realize that, okay, before I want to give share myself, not give, but share myself with someone else, there's certain things that I have to work on too. And that's not really always talked about and reciprocated in the beginning. That really happens like in between. And so especially when feelings get involved and someone says that to you, it's a really like not hurtful, but it's like a whoa, like, oh, I thought we were going one way and it ends up like this. And you realize like there's certain things you need to work on. Like maybe you should have thought about this before we ended up, but at the same time, you don't really realize these things that you need to work on until you start working on
in
that.
a relationship. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I'm 39, thank the Lord. And I'm at a point of single and very satisfied because it took me to this point to self-reflect and be like, hold on, what are my values? What are my morals? Why are these things not working out? I'll tell you why. Because it's going against every check mark on my I don't believe in list. That's why, but it's taken me a very long time now being the mother of little girls. And I'm just like, you know what I mean? You better grow up and make sure he treats you like a queen.
Yeah.
However, you know what I mean? I'm taking a back shot around the corner in a car and, doing all these things. I mean, the former me. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for saving me.
Amen.
But just as an example, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to, you know what I mean. I'm muting.
So I think self-reflection and really valuing and loving yourself before really getting serious with someone is very, very important, because yes, attraction and feelings always get the best of people, but you have to look at you have to look at yourself outside of the relationship and know what you're bringing to the table too.
Mm-hmm. I need to ask the single guys. So have you ever been friends with someone and next thing they've taken it like that you guys were together, and it's like, but we always were together and we hung out and but we like the same things? And do you find that sometimes the young ladies kind of take it like we went on a date, the next thing it's like, I need to meet your mother? Have you ever had that kind of experience before? Or do you find that ladies are more kind of, they're speedier? You're both on mute.
I've never had that experience. I've never had that experience before. I think it's because I set up the expectation. So I know from the get-go, I would tell the lady, this is a friendship, right? But if we want to move further, then we need to talk about it. Because I think one thing that Renford said, if you don't set up the expectation from the beginning, that's where you end up like in a situationship or relationship. As Kimmy was in a relationship she didn't know. So I think setting up those communicating, for me, it's like I always communicate. It's like if it's a friendship, it just remains a friendship.
But sometimes friendships grow into something more.
Yeah, but I think personally, I always have to make sure that we talk, right? It's kind of like if there's an update, it grows into something more. I would talk to the girl and say, hey, I feel like this friendship is going somewhere where I want to see you as a companion, a partner. But I think it's that communication. I always make sure there's a communication, because I hate when, yes, Talisha. Oh,
I just you can finish what you're saying, but I have a question after what you're.
okay.
Yeah, sure. He was on a roll.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Go on. Sorry.
Okay, my bad. My question is like, we're talking about friendships between the opposite sex, but that could be a platonic friendship, and then friendships where you're, like doing little extra stuff. So when you're doing these extra non-platonic things, how does the man approach the woman when she's asking questions like, oh, are we more than this? What does this mean? And all these things, because how else are we supposed to think if we're doing more than just platonic friendships, like doing absolutely nothing. But you know,
that's how I made my first baby. Okay, it was one of them platonic things where the boundaries started to get a little
Blurry.
a little too much, non-platonicness started to creep in. And then you start telling yourself in your head, well, my friend, you talk, you hang out, you party. And then next thing you know, panty a drop. So, and who better, right? You start telling yourself, who better than my friend? But then you got to question yourself, well, are we really friends though? Because you know what I mean? A lot of times you get a little mix up, mash up, and you get the memo after.
Renford, you're very quiet here. We're still waiting for input.
You can't just let me be quiet today.
Well, your facial expressions, I feel like you have something to say.
Yes.
All right. No, I was just listening to the stuff that Kimmy was saying, and she's talking about mash up and party and blurred lines, and so she was just getting me on a tangent. But I mean, to your question, well, I don't even know what question I'm answering. Am I answering Talisha's question or Ruth's question?
We can just go with whichever question that you want to answer.
Yeah.
Talisha, can you repeat your question, please, so I'm able to answer it properly?
Okay, so we talk about friendships between the opposite sex, and then there's platonic friendships and non-platonic friendships where there's a little thing more that's happening, but there's no title to the relationship or friendship that you guys have, anything more than that. And so, Ruth kind of said something about when a woman asks, oh, are we more than this? Or like, are we going somewhere? Like, what is the intention behind us doing these things? And how does a man approach a woman when they ask such questions?
Okay, so I'm going to take a step back. So I think in my view, I think we're too late once we get to that point, right? I believe that women have the most valuable asset on the face of this earth, and you have to protect yourselves, right? So if you have to be in a situation where you're platonic or you're with friend or and the lines are starting to get blurred, you have to protect yourself, right? It doesn't matter about what I think or what I claim you are or what I claim you're not. It's just that treasure and that value that you have within yourself. Are you ready to relinquish that, not knowing what the title or definition of that relationship is? And I think that's just, in my opinion, I think that's just most important, right? Like, don't, what they say, like there's all these sayings where it's like, if somebody's not willing to pay rent, then they can't live here. You know what I mean? So it's like, if they're not willing to commit, then they shouldn't get the goods of commitment, right? So I don't want to get on that point in terms of, women and titles and all that stuff when they're asking us stuff. Let's backtrack. For the women out there, you definitely have to know that you have the most valuable treasure, and nobody should be able to possess that unless they're going to take on the responsibility of embracing it, and with all the entirety, right? To protect you, to provide for you. Like there's times when we don't want to be around, but like we have to be around because you have that commitment with that person. If I want to just come and go as I please, stay friends. And if I want to get the goodness, then I got to commit, but again, so much of that power lies with the ladies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
Let mute.
I agree. I agree 100%. And yes, I take some responsibility. Okay. However, my granny always raised me to say, Kimberly, if you touch the cut, you go hot, right? And take the time to feel the pine. And I wish I held on to those.
Do we need subtitles?
But you know what? It's true. Society, and I don't want to make excuses, but society did kind of embrace me into this mentality of this is how we deal with transactions. You know what I mean? I give you this, and I guess I hope that you give me something else in return. And it really doesn't end up that way. But now in 2021, we got shows like The Side Chicks of Charlotte, right? Like you have shows where it's actually being glorified, like get the bag, give it up.
Yeah.
Okay, doing nothing. Don't give it up. Give it to the next man, and all this other stuff. So it does make me fearful for the future generation. But it's true. I can take some responsibility for being a little confused in my mind. I was on that little Jada Pinkett entanglement mind for a minute, but
Entanglement.
I'm better now today.
Okay. So I want to flip the question over to the married guys. How did you, they talk about expectations, they talk about intentions. How did you know that, I'll ask Joe first, how did you know that your wife was the one? And is there such a thing as the one, as in just one person for you?
I'm skipping that first part altogether. I don't know that one. For me, it was I was spending time with my, I guess she was my girlfriend at the time, and my brother came to visit, and the way she treated him as a guest in her home and took care of him, barely knowing him, I was like, that's the woman I want to raise my children. That's the person I want to start a family with, and we can, do good things together, and raise good children and be better parts of society. And you never know, like, and anything you do, you're taking a risk. You don't know if that woman is going to be there forever, but you take a chance because it feels right. Kimmy, I think you said something about the vibe. You know what I mean? I remember a couple of questions we had, do looks matter and all these things? Like, yes, certain things matter, but really it is can you spend the rest of your life with this person when your looks fade? Do you enjoy the conversation? The intangible things that are important to me. And that's why I fell in love with her. And that's why I do, every day I get up, I try to be the best father and the best husband. And I'm not perfect, but I do my best to show love for this family. And I'm on this platform to learn, from different generations to raise my children proper.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
Okay, nice. So,
Thank you.
Is actually. So,
We love you, man.
Andre. Andre, same question. How did you know that Esther
was the one? Or did I know?
How did you know Esther was the one? And do you think there's only one person for each person?
Oh, did I know she was the one before I met her or during?
No, when you met her, how did you know, before you asked her to marry you, how did you know that she was the one?
Well, that one, it kind of come easy as I was telling you before, right? Remember I tell you I was in a relationship before, which ended like 2010 or 11, somewhere there, and then meeting her 2014. So remember I tell you the next person I talk to, this will be the one. I don't know.
You had decided.
Yeah, so it's, as I say, it's more, and I don't like to say, it's more like maybe a spiritual thing. I don't even know how to explain. It's this feeling that you can't explain, and you talk it into existence in the next person or whatever. And then when we meet her, and I never know she was African, so I can't be influenced by that to say, oh, she's an African and initiate that move, or to say she's from Europe. I never have none of that in my play. In play. And when she said she was African too, that was like, whoa, really? Me with African? It just sound the type of person I was growing up in. Jamaica, you listen to the type of music. If you listen to the reggae music, the cultural one aspect, your parents may think, I grew up with my grandmother, she may at the time think that, oh, may I follow the Rasta them, but the Rasta thing is all about this Afro, your cultural aspect where you're from, and then that happened coming here and meeting her as an African is like, well, I really have an African princess, not because she's black, she's actually from the land. And then come over, when she come over the first time, I think I'm a cook for her. And yeah, she eat the food like, she never shy, she never want a pizza, she eat the yam, the sweet potato. We never forget that. And from the first, was that moment I realized, yeah, she eat the full plate of food and just her reaction like she never had this experience before. It just like, yeah, she's the one, and she interested now, want to know. And my grandmother kind of give me the tick too. My grandmother says she's not shy, she's not a foreigner. She eat the food like says she not stush, so that's what my grandmother cook for her time. So those little things add up as we go by. And then now when I went to live with her now, 2016, she helped me with my career. I want to do plumbing, and I asked her before if she would have married to a plumber. And she said, yeah, why wouldn't she? And I'm like, yo, a Canadian girl thinking like this. She's what, 21, 20 years old, thinking like this for a plumber? Anyway, she said yes. And I'm like, if this pretty girl want a plumber, yeah, I'll do the plumbing. My dad wasn't a fan of it. And then Esther talked to her mom, and they put me in their house, and I pursue plumbing. And here I am doing plumbing with her now. And she cook. I get to see her first and at home. She cook, she manage, the way she govern the house, it's a mother. And then with her little nephew too, again, you see her already showing parenthood. She was really a hands-on type of person, typical old school mother type of thing. She cooked, she no party, she no club, you know what I mean? And she value family, and she have morals. Some grown, some rooted stuff inside of her, you know what I mean? And she helped me in a lot too. So at the end of the day, I know that she was one from the jump. When I see her, she's beautiful, and then meeting her inner beauty was even more captivating. And as I said, it was signs. She helped me along the way to pursue my dream. Likewise, I help her too. So we kind of help each other along the path until it reached Africa. We went to Africa to marry, which was good. So yeah. Even
okay,
that
so I heard you say something, huh?
Even that we talked from the beginning. When she said she was from Africa, I was telling her, yeah, we're gonna marry in Africa. And she was like, no, not really, our family here. And then it happened that way too. So
you did. So I want to ask this question to everyone. If you're in a relationship, would you be, as Andre talked about family, if your family really were not for the person that you were with, would you continue with that relationship, or would you kind of take a step back and think, comments? Talisha's shaking her head. Unmute.
I definitely, family is the most important thing to me, and they always have my best interest at heart, and they can see things outside of my eyes. So if they're telling me, and everyone has the honeymoon phase, so if they're telling me something that I can't see, then I'm definitely going to listen to it. And what I would love to do, if I'm ever in this situation, hopefully, I do this, but bring it to that person and say, hey, my family said this about you. Do you realize about this about yourself? Is this something that you feel like you can change? And see what their answer is from there. And then whatever their answer is, then I'll make my decision. But I'm not going to ignore what my family would say for my relationship, for sure.
Just saying, Talisha, you shouldn't, to be honest, you should never do that, mama. You know why? It's at the end of the day, that person, it can be truth, right? I'm not trying to say family is first, far and foremost, but you're about to create your family. See, so sometimes we can come in with the intention, like our family have our best interests, and we kind of come guarded, but we don't know this person. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's a barrier for you and that person to break together, where you can start to think for yourself, start to think like, oh, I want this for my kid. There was probably some, we call it now, not cultural stuff, but when your family have some traits that were negative, I don't remember the exact term, we call it family curse or whatever it is. Maybe you grew up and see your parents, and then you want to say, you know what, I think I would do this better as a mom, blah, blah, blah. So maybe this is a person you can bring that to. So you never know. So sometimes it's good when it's going to be tough, to be honest with you, because we can speak of experience where you feel as if your family wouldn't say something bad. But remember, that person, in all fairness, you're seeing them more vulnerable than when your parents or your family members see them. So probably when they're putting on the facade around your family, they think, hey, that guy did that. But you see him, I'm like, no, it's not like this. So you probably don't want to ask a question directly to say it coming from your family. You have to find a way to maneuver that question and bring it out of the person. So just going forward, don't go back to your other significant and be like, oh, my aunt said this. Like, oh, I don't like that. Why would you say that? You have to know how to probably ask them a question that's kind of parallel to what they think and see how he reacts to that type of thing. Yeah. So for me to say, no, answering the question, I'm strong with family, very strong with my family and thing, but I kind of live and experience and know that. No, you find a wife,
Okay, quickly putting that over to Ghislaine. You're from the African continent. You're from Burundi. Yes. I know that Africans are really strong in their traditions and their culture and things like that. If somebody from your family was somebody you really wanted to be with and they were not too keen on the person, would you go ahead regardless, especially in light of what Andre said? Because it's you and this person now who's going to be having starting their life.
That's a good question. I will still go ahead because, as Andra said, like, you're trying to create your own family, and there are some traits like you bring from your family, whether they're bad, and you found this other person who actually brings the better, right, the best in you. So I'll still go ahead, but the problem is, if I do that, I will know there'll always be some friction between the family, right? The family is my family and my her family, stuff like that. So I think if I decide to do it, if I decide to go ahead, it will be my I would say it will be my responsibility to always bring the harmony between our families. And sometimes there are some, I would say sometimes our families, they would say, they tell you not to marry that person or not to go out with that person because they have some, they don't know the person per se, right? So it's either they know them from they think they know the person, but the other person. So I think it's also our responsibility, my responsibility, to try to engage my family to get to know better that person, right? So, but I'll still if I see that person that they are bringing the better in me, they're supporting me, and you know what? I'll still go ahead.
Okay, Joe, can I ask you that question? If you, when you had met your wife and you realized that she was the one, if there were any conflicts with your family, would you still have gone ahead and married her, or would you have held off for a bit and tried to bring some kind of unity between families?
I think everyone's brought up great points on this. I think it really is the relationship that you have with your individual family members. Talisha seems like she's got a very good head on her shoulders and has probably a really good, strong family foundation. So that's why she would respect those opinions. And those would mean a lot to her. I don't know if she has siblings, but for me, I wouldn't want to marry someone or, who my siblings don't like them. You know what I mean? We're going to be spending time together, or their siblings didn't like me. It's important that you get along with the family. Now, when people have issues from their childhood, I think that's different, where I don't care what my family thinks about these people because this person is good for me. So I think it's really unique to your situation. I do think that sometimes we have blinders on because we're in love and, we're not seeing clearly. But I do think on like Andre, it's like I'm in between Andre and Talisha. I mean, you have to be cognizant of yourself to make those wise decisions. Like Andre's saying, like it's your choice. It's your family that you're starting. Your family becomes the people under your roof. Once you get married and start having babies, your family is no longer your brothers and sisters. They start to become your extended family, and those people under the roof are the number one thing that you need to care about. But at the same time, if you have a great bond with your mom and dad and they've steered you in the right direction on multiple occasions, you have to be, wise enough to take a look and say, okay, I'm going to take a step back and make sure that this person I'm about to, spend the rest of my life with really has the best interest for me.
Okay, great. Okay, so we are near the end of the show. There is one question that I will be asking everyone. It's been a great conversation. It's been informative. It's been humorous. It's been interesting. But I've had a good time. I'm going back to directing next time. So I'm behind the camera. Safe enough. But I got one fun question for everyone. Okay, it's Valentine's tomorrow. So instead of having roses, what would you give or like to receive on Valentine's Day? So this could be anything. It could be like a hamper of meat. It could be whatever. So let me start with Talisha. Instead of having roses, what would you like to receive? What would you like to give or like to receive on Valentine's Day?
Just love. I think just a nice message that's genuine from the heart, whether it's like a note or like a text, whatever, anything like that, just to show that someone's thinking about me and to show that I'm thinking about someone else seems a lot more genuine than some like a gift, a physical object. But that's
Oh,
me.
I want the roses. Husband knows I want the roses. Okay, Joe, the same question to you.
I'm the same way, just quality time with the ones I love. You know, I have 2 young boys and a teenage daughter, and I get to see my daughter on opposite weekends. So to have her here on Valentine's Day this weekend, to have everyone together, that is the most precious to me. I don't need to eat any more chocolates. I've had enough in my in my lifetime. But it's just quality time though, because I mean, you know, that whether you believe in Valentine's Day or not, you know, I've been mentally programmed to celebrate this over the last 40 years of my life. So as you get older, it's just quality time with the ones you love.
Okay, Andre.
For me, it's just another day, man, to be honest.
Oh, boo.
On the dinner and that's it. So spending the
Esther, I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, she's okay with that.
So rubbish. Okay, Kimmy, what would you like to receive?
I'm down with all the loving and stuff like that, like Talisha and Joe said, especially after this, pandemic. It puts a lot of things into perspective. However, I'm still spoiled on the inside. I want all-inclusive paid vacation to somewhere where I can be pampered. I want hot tub access 24/7. I want manicure, pedicure, maybe even get my eyebrows did. I want to be pampered.
Is this just for the day?
If you could squeeze it in.
Or a week.
If you could squeeze it in, I want about a 10-day Valentine to make up for the rest of the years. So
from February to the February.
Outside now keep though.
Huh?
Outside now keep though. So you're gonna do the manicure and all of that.
This is why I'm single. My expectations have gone a little too high. But if I'm used to the low maintenance all the time, of course I want some new maintenance, man. We're coming to a new mechanic.
Moving swiftly along. Gislin.
I mean, a note, a message. I would say this year in pandemic, maybe someone orders some Uber Eats to me, and I do the same thing as well, and then we have a Zoom conversation, or so that's a great idea.
Cheers.
Cheers. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay, and Mr. Bojangles.
Well, so your question is, what do I want other than flowers?
Yeah, what would you like to give? What would you like to give or receive?
So let me just say something here. All of my years of living, I've never once yet received any flowers for Valentine's, and I think that's not right. Okay. So if somebody wants to send me some flowers, feel free to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not against it. Send me the flowers, show me that you're thinking of me. But in all honesty, man, What I would love to see for Valentine's or receive for Valentine's is for Valentine's to be every day. Just for people to have that sense, the passion and the drive, and we rush to the store to get things for people. We start thinking about what does this person want? What could I do for this person? If that could just be every day, that's what I'd love for Valentine's. For Valentine's just to be on repeat. And every day we get up, we're just trying to love one another. And again, like there's so many different types of love too, right? Like we're not just talking about romantic love, but if we even had that brotherly, sisterly love as well, we can help our neighbor. And, when you're seeing somebody struggling with the groceries or shoveling their laneway, and we can go out and help them, you know what I mean?
True.
But Kimmy, ain't nothing wrong with the good loving though too, nothing wrong with that.
Oh, okay. Well, this has been fun. This has been a great end to the show. As usual, we're going to do the sign off. So everybody, you have your 10 seconds to say goodbye. So Renford, you go.
All right. So salute to everyone. Blessed Valentine's Day. And forget that, just love on one another from here on forward. And let us just remember that we all share this earth. We all share this atmosphere together. What we do, what we say, how we act towards other people affects them. You know what I mean? So let's try to just live in love and steer people in the right direction. Mr. Bojangles signing off.
Over and out. Okay, Andre.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I enjoyed this session, and hope everyone enjoyed your weekend, and just continue loving from the heart, whether or not it's from Cupid or your significant other. Just continue loving from your heart every day of the week. And yeah, all the best till we see each other again.
Okay, Kimmy, Miss Fabulosity.
What a pleasure. I love this platform. It is just getting started, and I can't wait until all the seasonings and the spices mix up and we just deliver gravy all day, smothered all over. So I'm really
that's an interesting visual.
Huh?
That's an interesting visual.
Right, call me Putin. And I also wanted to say that, I hope that nobody got offended by anything that I've said, but I do want to be a witness to say that anything in my life I've gone through, I am a living testimony that I can still survive. We are here, and you can't let the negative things, hold you down and hold you back. So my test will always be my testimony. And I hope that, with this platform, we can share and expose certain topics on certain times and go in deep. You know what I mean? But for the love, I'm going to keep it lovey. Thank you.
Gislin.
This was a great time, guys. I love it. And have a wonderful weekend and keep loving your others and self-love as well. And more poutine.
Okay. Joe.
You can never get enough poutine. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to this, seeing you guys again in 2 weeks. Happy Valentine's Day.
Okay, and Alicia.
I was so happy to share some smiles and stories with everyone, and I hope everyone can reflect on the things that we said today and learn and grow and just spread love, positivity, and happiness.
Okay, and from me, my name is Ruth. This is the one time I'm doing this. Back to Mr. Bojangles next time. Oh, if you are on YouTube, if you'd like to like, if you can subscribe. So next time that we have our show, that it will automatically come up if you press the bell. And just keep following us. This is a fun journey. This is exciting. We are just at the beginning. So I'm wishing everyone a happy Valentine's Day and keep loving each other.
Sing for us, Kimmy.
Are we allowed to talk now?